What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Pedro and Hannibal podcast on this lovely Saturday night. I know that if you guys are hanging out with us, or even if you check out the replay, we appreciate every single one of you. We got a banger today. We got a lot to talk about today. My name is
hmm
Hannibal. I'm here with my boy Pedro. How are you doing this evening, sir?
What up? Saturday, man. First Saturday podcast for us. I'm good. It's been a great day. So I'm ready to get the show started, man.
Me too. I had a lot of sleep because I was out just doing a whole bunch of nonsense, but had a good time. So I had to kind of wake up today and kind of figure out, yeah, like we got a show tonight and we had some things to talk about. But I forgot to talk to you about this in the pre-show meeting as we have where it's about 5 minutes, so we just talk, right?
Yeah.
What are you listening to? Are you still listening to the hippity hop? Like, what's going on? I mean, this
Yeah, man.
podcast is
Listen.
based on it. What you
So
been
I've
listening
been
to?
I took your recommendation and God, I'm so bad with names. I was listening to the guy you recommended that I knew a little bit about. Hold on.
Denzel Curry?
Denzel Curry. Sorry, the guy from
Yes.
Miami. Listen, I hadn't I think maybe initially when I said I kind of knew of him, I was thinking of somebody else. I knew the name, but I hadn't really listened to his stuff.
Yeah.
So when you were saying Miami, I was like, okay, I think I know. I didn't get vibes of Miami from him. I got more of a East Coast flavor. I really liked the album I listened to. It was the one that came out this year. Thought it was really
Yeah.
good. The Walking Track and a few others. It was good, great listen. I listened to the whole album and I listened to a few songs a couple times on I think it was maybe Wednesday and Thursday of this past week. So great recommendation, man. I really enjoyed it. It was good.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right about the vibe of
hmm
when he's rapping. So I didn't know he was from Miami either because like
Yeah.
you said he's not Kodak Black. He definitely looks like, I mean, if you look at, some of his hairstyles and his energy, I think he fits it, but in terms of his topic and the
Yes.
context of his songs, they did have the J. Cole, Joey Badass,
hmm
really, and, he got the bars, he can do what he wants, but
He's
he
talking
was
about
out.
some important things as well.
Yeah,
It's not, I like that kind of hip hop actually. I like the entertaining things for, that are talking about girls with big booties and stuff. But I also like the stuff that makes me think a little. And I liked I
I'm
like his
beginning
flow,
to
his delivery, all that stuff.
I'm
So
beginning to know what you appreciate. So when I do have a song, I'm like, Pedro wants a little bit more. He wants some
a
more
little bit. Yeah,
substance
I
to
do.
his
I
music.
do.
So I can't
Yeah.
give him the latest Migos track. He's not going to care. I'll
No.
listen to that and enjoy. But if it's something a little
Yeah.
bit more, I guess, depth in there,
Yeah.
some layers, I'm like, okay, I think he's going to like this one. So yeah, the
Yeah.
album was called "Melt My Eyes, See Your Future." So just by the name of the album, there's this heaviness there, but there's still good songs. I really enjoyed it. It's funny, I asked you about what you're listening to, and I got nothing. But there's some albums that came out that maybe next episode we can talk about briefly, because I just realized this maybe like this morning.
hmm
Kid Cudi came out with an album. I don't know if you're a Kid Cudi fan,
I
but I
am
gotta
a
check
kid.
the album out.
I am a Kid Cudi fan. I'm not. Some Kid Cudi fans are like real, like they're like culty, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those necessarily. I don't know. I haven't gone down the rabbit hole of Kid Cudi and the lyrics and all the things that he puts in his songs and his videos and his artistry, but
Yeah.
definitely a fan and a super talented guy. I think he spearheaded a lot of these new artists that we see right now. So
Yeah, I think I'm more of on. I may not be like extreme Kid Cudi fan, but I'm probably close to it. So I like a lot of his music. His new album came out called Enter the Galactic.
mhm.
Typical Kid Cudi. I'm gonna check that out. I haven't really deep dived in it. And Gid, one of the rappers on the label of Dreamville,
Okay.
J Cole's Dreamville. He came out with an album. It's called the Forever Story, and people have been saying, I've been looking on the internet, some little Facebook groups and stuff that I frequent, Twitter, saying this is candidate for album of the year. So I gotta check that out. I'm a big fan of him. Some people think that he sounds like Kendrick, but
Okay.
Kendrick has a long range of different flows and styles. When he has that really high pitch kind of rapping
hmm
style, they say Jid sounds like that, but I think that's just how Jid raps. I don't think he's copying him, and he's a really good rapper. And his Forever Story. So I think hopefully we'll check out those two albums, and you give me some of your thoughts. Uh,
I'll definitely interested in checking out both, but maybe even more so the Jid because I know less about him. And the dream, we like J. Cole here. Obviously some would say he's the best right now out. So he's definitely in the top, most people's top 3, I would say currently, because of what he does. But I'll definitely check out both of those.
Yeah, his roster, J. Cole's roster is pretty strong. You got Lute, which is a really good. You got Boz and Jed, and I think he has a group called Earth Gang. You may not know him, but if you check out the Dreamville Collective record that they had maybe a year or two ago, where they had a little bit, I think he got a Grammy for like 22 different artists and producers, like for the first time, just by going on his collab album. Yeah, maybe the Grammy. Really good music, and it's a little diverse. He's all over the place. Like Boz is from Queens, J. Cole's from North Carolina, so you didn't want to check that out. But before we get into our main topic of father versus son, and we'll get into that. But there was a TikTok that Pedro sent me, about a young lady that just wasn't feeling the idea of dating a teacher. So the idea has been brought to her. Hey, how about a teacher? Stable job, very admirable job. Yeah, and she was like, nah. she was not feeling.
Yeah.
Actually,
I have an opinion on her, so I want to watch let's watch the clip.
Let's watch the clip. Let me make sure I got everything good. Okay.
He wants to be a school teacher, but he's happy.
That is wonderful for him. It's not enough for me.
Okay.
Period, point blank. And again, money is like the surface level for sure, but like it's more about like thinking big. Like we only have one life to live. We just have the one. So it's like there's nothing wrong with being a school teacher, especially if it's happy and it fulfills you and it's what you want.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
But like for me personally, like I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to own businesses. I want to own property. Like my mindset is so far removed from that life that just doesn't work for me. And that's okay. That doesn't make me a gold digger. It doesn't make me, no, it makes me know what I want and know what doesn't align with that.
Well, Pedro, you has some thoughts. Fire off.
Listen, I don't know. That's a TikTok I saw today as I was, scrolling a little bit. And I don't know the context of the conversation or what they were talking about before, so it's hard to really, be 100% informed. But it's just like the thing that stuck out to me the most wasn't that she wouldn't want to date or be with a man that was a teacher because, hey, maybe she's got her own dreams, admirations, and she's thinking bigger than that monetarily. Can't knock that. I'm not going to knock your hustle and who you want to prefer to date. But for her to say, I don't know the exact word she used, but it was basically she's downplaying a man for wanting to be a teacher. Like that's not enough because you only have one life to live. I want to think big. I want to do bigger things than a teacher. Excuse me, ma'am. That's a pretty admirable profession. It might not pay a lot, but you're molding the minds of teachers or young kids, excuse me. And there's not enough people that want to do that work for various reasons because the pay can be shit and you have to deal with a lot of shit. Yeah. So the fact that you discredit somebody saying that they're not living their life to the fullest because it's only one life and why would you want to be a teacher? That's not bold enough. That to me is when I heard her say it, I was like, she's crazy. Like it's such a, and it's also, are you talking about a school teacher that, okay, he's teaching, third grade? Or are you talking about a professor? Like, so many professors make great money. They write books. They have, so it goes to where we're at with women and dating and men and dating and like looking at like, I need you to make $100,000 a year or you're a clown, or I need you to make $1 million and you can't buy me a Birkin. Your goals aren't big enough for me. When this guy's just being a school teacher and he's trying to like teach people and inspire and motivate, like, that's a pretty admirable job. So for her to shit on that career, to me, it's just, it's stupid. I don't know.
Yeah. I think her reasoning, which she's using logic, like she had a little bit of logic. She's trying to say that I'm thinking bigger. So entrepreneur is the kind of lifestyle that I want me and my husband or future husband to pursue. I think it's more her shielding her emotional reaction. She wants status. Status is important to her. Status and power and influence. These things, she finds those qualities attractive, not stability, not consistency. compared, that's what a school teacher is. It's a stable job, right? Stable kids need to be, need to learn. And entrepreneurship is not easy. It's highs and lows. And a lot of women like that. They like the highs and lows, sometimes extreme to the extreme level. And she wants, when someone asks her what her man does for a living, she wants to be able to say something that is very impressive. He owns some businesses. He's traveling. That's where she wants. And she's I would say not making the best decision, because even if you could still be entrepreneur, and your other partner could be doing the stable W-2. Why would you both need to be entrepreneurs? Actually, it would make more sense if things go in a wrong way with your business, which can happen. You have another partner that's consistent and stable. So no, I think she's about status.
Yeah. No, you know what? That's very well said. And I don't knock her for that. It's just, I think a lot of people like that. They want to be with somebody that is willing to take risks and go for it and go dream big, go bold. I'm all for that. I do that on a very small scale myself. However, like you just said, if she has that entrepreneurial mindset, if you meet a man that is you vibing and maybe you don't love that he's a teacher, hey, he could probably provide you a good 401k. He's going to contribute to that. He's going to have health insurance for you. He's going to have stability so that you can actually go out there, because most entrepreneurs fail, right? So you're going to be with a man that has some stability. He's got your back. He's got the summers off, so he can't help you grind during the summer. So I just think it's a real short-minded, like, I don't want to date a teacher. It's you only got one life. It's a good profession to get into. It's admirable. I don't understand why we're knocking a teacher because you don't want to date a teacher because of his status. Like, it's crazy to me.
I think it's money. She wants money. She wants people to be impressed when she brings her guy out there. And I think the word you use is perfect. Short-sighted ness. It's, I would think, if you're a doctor and you date another doctor, that may not be a good idea, especially it depends on kind of medicine you're participating in. But if you're both ER doctors, when you ever going to see each other?
When are you going to see each other? Yeah.
Right. Or two high-powered lawyers that defending multi-million-dollar corporations, you both would never see each other. So instead of having the same level of terms of commitment to whatever career or business, wouldn't it make sense to have one that's like is a difference? Like, okay, I'm the take risks, try to build a business, and the one, the other partner is more consistent, maybe W-2, but like I said, have benefits. They have the things that they can do. Teachers get to, they can have the summers off. They can work the summers as well. Like, there's more flexibility in the summertime. Like, wouldn't you want that? And also the personality of the person, who the person is, like, shouldn't those things be a factor? But for her, it's about who is this man and how much money he's going to make. That is what's the most attractive part for her. And at least she's honest. She's saying the quiet part out loud. So
yeah, I agree with that. I give her props to that. But she's probably going to be single, and that's lonely. So I mean, you have to. I think you have to. It's just tough. I think it's some of these people out here. It's like, I want the status. I want this. I want this. I want to be able to say my husband owns a business, or he has a record company, or he has a fleet of cars in this service. It looks good. He's well dressed, and he's got a little gold chain, and he's like this. And we're gonna shit on the school teacher that's teaching, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just it's bad. I don't know.
And also let's look at it on the side of, you have daughters, right? So we want to make sure that our daughters date the most, at least you want if you want your daughter to be with someone that can provide and is doing well for themselves, right? And I guess it depends, right? Like, some fathers, like, you gotta date a doctor or a lawyer, like, you gotta take care of my girl forever, that kind of thing. And but the problem is, what attracts people is different, right? Like, different kinds of level of attraction in terms of what you of course a woman should want to be with a man that could take care of them, right? But
that's important. Yeah.
right, like
Yeah.
you want, and someone that is running a business can potentially provide more than a teacher. Now, I don't think most teachers are starving and they could barely get together. I guess
Yep.
depends on their financial habits and their history. But is it wrong to want to have the best, at least, quote unquote, the best for any woman decides, okay, I'm gonna give this guy my last name, all my time, probably my womb, pop out 4 kids or whatever. Shouldn't she look for the most successful man around?
Yeah, she might, and she might be somebody that might not want a family. Maybe she's career driven. She wants to be a power couple. Like, that's cool. I just, for the line that bothered me, and you make a great point. The thing that bothered me is like, oh, you only got one life. You got to, like what? Like you gotta, you. So if you're a man and you're a teacher, you're not, it's just kind of selfish. But I get it. She's, do your thing, find your man to be the power couple with, but. I don't know, man. Some of these women, they come on and men, they come on these podcasts and they're being interviewed and they're just trying to say the flashy thing and it's all about the glitz. And it's like, that's just it's short-sighted for most, right? It really is. So,
yeah, we just talked about this in the last episode about how we can get some of the, the boys, in grade school, junior high, high school. How do we get them to care more about education? Because you see the stats, the girls are outperforming boys in school. How can we get boys focused back in school? And one of the suggestions from that author, Robert Reeves, I believe his name was to hire more male teachers. Like we need more male teachers out there to teach these kids because it's a little easier. A male teacher can relate to the boys because he was once one. They can, that's how it works sometimes. Your biggest coaches are the people who you could relate with. And when the school system is dominated by women, and especially if they don't have a lot of patience with these, these annoying boys running around being stupid, like boys can, a man can kind of understand that energy, figure it out, relate to them. So we need more male teachers. So I will definitely disagree with her about think big. Being a teacher is a really important job. Yeah.
It is. And I think I understand the financial reason as to why they don't make maybe what many think they should, right? It takes, we're a teacher, you can make a good living once you get to a certain point, but it takes sometimes some years and some things to get and some degrees to get to a spot. But people do it. Like, it's not a bad profession. It's not low paying, but in the beginning it can be, right? So we got to figure out how to attract and attain the right type of people to even want to become a teacher, right? We have to make it an attractive job, an attractive profession. I think it used to be, and it's not anymore. And we need more male teachers. We need probably more Black and brown male teachers. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that we need these kids seeing somebody that looks like them, that can relate to them, that can inspire them. I think that's really important. And I think we're probably missing out a little bit right now on that in our education system.
Definitely agreed. And, I guess we're going to get more into the whole domestic side of being a father with your kid, because we need fathers to be with their children, no matter how successful they become. So we're going to get into it. 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson.
50.
Versus basically his son, Marquise Jackson, which is he's a grown adult. He's an adult, right? Legally.
Yeah.
But it's been, this feud between them has gone basically almost 10 years, maybe, definitely last 5 years, where they don't get along. And since 50 Cent is the most pettiest man on earth on social media,
he's super petty.
He does not care.
He's petty.
That's a part of his charm. I remember listening to 50 Cent in college. Wow, I am old. So this is back 2000.
Yeah, you're talking early 2000, early 2000s. Yeah.
When I heard his mixtapes before he got shot up or whatever, he had the mixtapes, which is interesting. His rapping style was much different.
It was. What was the mixtape song? Robbed You. He was going after all the rappers.
Robin. Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah, like he different rhyme style. He definitely sounded like a New York rapper. And he was doing it for a playful style, but a lot of that, some of the people who he was rapping and dissing did not think it was all fun and games. But he was a big deal in New York, big deal. And he got shot up. Obviously, drops probably one of the best. What I would say one of the greatest rap albums. Get Rich or Die Trying. Very good album.
I would say it's definitely one of the better debut albums. There's no skips on that album. Culture. I mean, that's that album, the Gucci belt,
the imaging, the brand,
the image, the Gucci belt, the belt, bulletproof vest or whatever he's got. Like that whole album was legendary to say.
I mean, some people still. I mean, a lot of the songs are still being played. Every once in a while, you will hear Many Men blasted out of someone's car, or at some,
Shout out to Nova. He's a Washington Commanders fan. Brian Robinson, the running back, the rookie that got shot a couple months back. He came out last week out of the tunnel and to the Mini Men song as he's running out to the field. It's one of the, if you haven't seen the clip, it's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
When you listen, when you rap, and especially you listen to Many Men, you somehow think that everyone's after you. And you're a bit, like, first of all, no one's after you, you dummy. But you have that feeling. It's such because he wrote that literally because someone tried to take his own life. I mean, a man was shot 9 times and survived, right? So he had launched this really amazing rap career. And he seemed like he always knew that he was going to be more of a businessman. I think he realized the rap game was a young man's game. So I don't think 50 Cent's a billionaire now, but I think of all the rappers that's going to be with Diddy and Jay-Z and Dr.
He could get there.
He will become a billionaire. Yeah, eventually.
Vitamin water.
You get the vitamin water, an investment, and then the acting. And 50 Cent didn't start by really acting really well in movie and TV shows. A lot of the first stuff that he was terrible. But it's like everything else, you get better and better. And he's executive producer of Power, one of the probably one of the most popular cable TV shows. Tons of spinoffs. He's doing ABC shows. So eventually he will be a billionaire. And I think his strength was his pettiness, his ruthlessness as a businessman, because he was a drug dealer. 50 Cent was a drug dealer.
Yeah,
right?
He was. I mean, when I've heard stories, 50 Cent's like 10, 11, 12 years old. He was on a block. Like he didn't, he grew up in the hood, dealing dope, a kid, a child, so he was living that life. And to see where he is now, it's like, that's wild to imagine. If you saw 50 Cent, I don't know how old he is. He's probably 40 or something. And, 30 years ago as a kid, you're not thinking he's going to be who he is right now.
No. But I do believe that he took a lot of the skills that he learned on the street and applied to the corporate world, because I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between some of these corporate people, right? These CEOs, these high power executives, and the drug dealers on the block. You may think, well, yes, one is doing some harm, obviously, but when you look at it, there's some corporations that do just as much as harm. The mindset is the same. Type A, aggressive, ruthless, that kind of thing. I think that's why 50 Cent was able to take that hood life, right, his upbringing, and be successful in the corporate world. And I think that plays a little bit of the element between him and his son. So, and we're going to talk more about the idea. 50 Cent and Marquise, they're publicly doing this, but this happens a lot in society where if you don't, as a man, you don't get along with the mother of your child, you guys break up, that usually the woman usually has custody of the son. And you don't know those conversations are happening when the man is not there. And there's a lot of contention. And if you keep, it can get really, really messy. So this is clearly messy in this situation where, it started since 2008, right? Shaniqua Tompkins is the mother of Marquise, 50 Cent. I guess I don't know if they got married or anything, but she helped him in his early career. Obviously, they were together. He blows up. Obviously, the relationship doesn't work out. And there's a mansion that they were all living in, or she was living in. He evicts her out. And then that kind of starts the snowball effect of 50 Cent just being really aggressive, talking about her in a negative light publicly. And Marquise, his son, probably didn't appreciate that.
Yeah.
And you don't know what Shaquana, but Shaniqua was saying to to Marquise about 50 Cent.
About
So
50 Cent, yeah.
Marquise is probably developing a resentment towards him, and that just continues and continues on to now, to a point where Marquise wants to have some level of relationship with his father. Said he would pay him money to see him, to try to talk to him. 50 Cent drops a lot of responses. I think he dropped one on Instagram, basically mocking the whole situation. He does not. I don't think he wants to talk to him. Saying that basically you're a grown man now. You don't need why you don't need you just for money. Like you're just trying to get some money. And a lot of people that I've seen on the internet responding really negatively to Marquise, saying you're only doing this to try to get money. You had your chance, like really dismissive. And I don't think that's a good idea either, because clearly there's a problem. This shouldn't be public, but clearly there's a child, no longer a child, but a man now that wants to try to talk to his father. I don't know if he's doing it for clicks and views, but even if it was, he should still need to talk to his father. So there's a lot going on there. Like, what's your thoughts on this subject, Pedro?
It's just unfortunate, we don't know all the ins and outs, and the conversations that they've had, and what the moms talk to the kid, and what the kid's been accustomed to seeing and hearing, and how much was 50 Cent around when he was younger, like to influence and to be around. But it's always sad when you have a child that wants to have a relationship with a parent, a dad, and the dad's kind of basically saying, nah, I'm good, publicly too. That's tough. It's still your son. He could be a man, but he's still your son. And he's probably, I'm imagining he's in his 20s or something. He's not, or young. I don't know how old he is, but that shouldn't even matter, And it's tough when you have a child. My oldest daughter's 21. Okay. She's a woman, junior in college. When you have a child with somebody and you're not married to that child's mom, right?
Yeah.
And even if you break up or get divorced, whatever, at the young age of that child, it's hard as a dad, because most of the time, like you said, the woman's going to have the custody. The father might have visitation, joint custody, see him on the weekends. But it's hard because we can't, as fathers, control what the mom is saying, or what the kid is, what the kid is seeing and hearing when we're not there. Right. So unless you're there every moment, you're not seeing things, and it could be hard for a dad to come back from certain things.
Right.
And maybe that happened. I'm not sure. I don't know how much Miss 50 Cent was in his son's life growing up, but like the fact that his son I've seen things where he wants more child support, he wants more support. He feels like it's not enough. And I think he's getting a lot of hate for that, because it's like for most people, it's a large sum of money, and he should be able to live okay. And he's saying, I need more than that. So it seems real cold and very, I think there's still a lot of bitterness there. If I'm 50 Cent, I mean, like I said, I don't know the history, but if my son wants to have a relationship with me, I'm going to have a relationship. If he's coming out publicly saying, I want a relationship, I want more. Hey, you're a man. Let's talk. You don't like the finances? Well, let's talk about it. Let's have a relationship. Start from there. So it just seems real messy that 50 Cent's going through internet and stuff to talk about and share things. I mean, how do you think that makes his son feel? Not very great, right? Because his son's kind of coming out looking a little bad.
But that's how it seems like that's how 50 Cent always dealt with all of his feuds, is publicly. I mean, that rap song he put out, which was, it was jabs at rappers, but it just showed the level of fearlessness that 50 Cent had. It seemed like he was more fearless after getting shot than, whatever. I'm going to push everything to the limit. And I'm looking at it. 50 Cent as an adult is at fault, because he's been an adult longer than his child, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're going back and forth with your baby mama. Okay, right? You're not showing up, and I'm looking at this right now. He didn't show up to his son's graduation, high school graduation. Shaniqua Tompkins accuses of 50 Cent of not seeing his son for years. And 50 Cent's answer to that, he said this 2014, so a while ago. He says he's talking about his son. He's completely embraced his mom's perspective on me. So in 50 Cent's head, it's like he's looking at the mother of his child, even though he's looking at Marquise as he's looking at the ex, hate and resentment, and he thinks he probably thinks I don't have a chance to even talk to him and have a balance there because she has said so many things about me, and obviously that's his mother. He's going to be protective of his mother, but as an adult, you should realize even if that there's a bad situation, right? A bad breakup, you can't talk down on the child's mother in front of the child.
Yeah,
I think that's like the biggest problem. And then then be surprised where you're saying, well, he's giving me a hard time. It's like, yeah, because you talked about his mother. That's his mother. Like that's one of the few things that can get a fight started. If you talk about someone's mother, right? I mean, I even see the mother. I don't even know the mother. But if you say enough about someone's mother, they will fight you.
Moms are off limits. Kids are off limits. Say what you want about me, but you can't.
Yeah.
You just don't talk about your moms like that at all. So,
and the fact that 50 Cent is real cutthroat. He is very like he is a corporate businessman at this point, right? He didn't have enough patience to understand that, considering he's able to be successful in dealing with all types of transactions, business wise, obviously relationships, to build wealth. He couldn't figure out, and he seems like I think he's a smart guy.
But I don't think he knew his father wasn't around, based on what I know. Right?
No, it wasn't.
His mom. So was he taught what a man does and doesn't do? Was he obviously if he's 10 years old on the block selling crack, something happened, right? So his mom, what I'm saying, like, he wasn't loved in a way. So some would say, not an excuse, but would say, well, he doesn't know what that looks like. But now he's a grown man. He's got money, which that helps with certain things, perspective, as far as learning certain things. He has time. He could stop. He doesn't have to build any more wealth for himself, and he could stop and just spend the rest of his life with his kids and family if he chose to. He doesn't need to grind anymore. Like he could set up. He has generational wealth. He could set up his kids. So like at this point, like he should feel like, I didn't know my dad growing up, and now I'm basically doing this. I didn't break the cycle.
The cycle continues.
Like Kendrick Lamar talks about, the cycle continues, and 50 Cent has some blame in that, because now he's able to make money for himself to break that generational cycle, to do and show his son the better way and be there for him. But now, what do you think? Marcus is, I'm assuming he might have kids, or he's going to have kids. Is he going to treat his kids the way his dad treated him? And then it continues and continues and continues. So for me, that's the bigger issue. Is like, at this point, even if 50 Cent didn't get the love every child should have, he could break that right now. And it looks like to this point, he's choosing not to.
Yeah. And he's also choosing to bring that love to his other son. So he has a younger son named Sire. And if you check any social media about Sire, loves that boy, right? All positive posts. I think it was either last year before, he shuts down an entire toy store, department toy store, or some kind of store, shut it down completely. So only him and his son can shop, right? And Marquise is definitely, I would assume, feels like 50 Cent replaced him with this other son that I think got it from some model or some big booty woman. She's fine, and they're not even together anymore.
Sure. I've seen pictures.
Definitely have a more positive relationship with this son, where I think he could think 50 Cent in his mind is sitting there and saying, "I can start over. I'm gonna shower him with all this love." Wow, the child Marquise, and again, he's not a child, but he looks. He looks like
young 50 Cent for sure.
Like that looks like you, man. And it just seems like it's a sad situation. I totally agree with Nova. I'll put the comment up here. I think for him, he couldn't reach his son, probably because he tried earlier and maybe the mom didn't want him to talk. I don't know. Overall, it's a sad situation. Yeah, it's possible where women manipulate everything.
Yes.
And can get that child to hate their father.
Yeah.
I've
been a part of that on some levels. Not this level, I don't think, but I've been a part of that, man. And it's not easy. especially when you have a kid and you're, both the parents are young, you're not together. It's hard, man, because when you're younger, you don't know how to react to certain situations. Everything's about you. You're bitter still. The woman's mad. The guy's mad. The girl moves on. The guy moves on, whatever the situation is. I get it. But like, even if 50 Cent wasn't able to reach out and the mom made it difficult, let's say that happened. If Marcus is trying to have a relationship now, for whatever reason, I feel like 50 Cent should embrace it. Because look at it. He's got this other kid, Sire, or whatever his name is. I mean, Marcus sees his dad loving on him, but I didn't get that same love. That could really mess with somebody's head. So, I think it's a sad situation either way. But if I'm 50 Cent, I mean, that's my firstborn son. We're both men. Let's talk about it like men and see if we can move on, and see if we can salvage some type of relationship,
Yeah. Yeah. I think between 50 Cent and his the mother of his child, the first son, Marquise, I think there's too much hatred. Like there's hatred there. And since Marquise is just as probably as petty as 50 Cent, because that's his, that's blood there, there's certain qualities about, how people are. So there's one situation that happened in 2014 where Marquise is hanging out with Floyd Mayweather. Now, why is that a interesting point? Floyd and 50 Cent had a really big beef a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So 50 Cent also has a lot of hate for his baby mom. Sees Marquise hanging out with someone else he hates. I'm sure Marquise knows that, but again, trying to either elicit a reaction or agreeing with Floyd Mayweather, it is more and more of that resentment that's building between these two. And I mean, we're all looking for an outside in, and the only reason why we're talking about this because they made it public. A lot of this stuff should not be public. A lot of this should be get on the phone and talk. Like, what can we do to resolve this? 50 Cent, right? Rightfully so, saying that, hey, I think he's embraced the mindset that his mother has. Well, she's with him.
Yeah.
She raised him. It didn't seem like 50 Cent raised this kid.
Yeah.
And again, I put more of the blame on 50 Cent because he's an adult. He brought this child in the world. You broke up with this individual, but you can't put that mother through all that nonsense and then have the son just agree. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. Especially the child's still growing up, still learning about life. So that's what I think. I don't know. What's your, if you had to put a blame chart on all this, like
I would put most of the, without knowing everything, but knowing what we know, I would put most of the blame now on 50 Cent. And I'll say this one reason, and maybe we can agree or not agree. You guys let us know in the chat, or if you're watching replay, put a comment down. Jeremy just said, Jeremy James, shout out to Jeremy James in the chat, just said, he went through something similar. The mom was saying lies about, him as a dad. Now his son reaches out, finds Jeremy on Facebook, and they're reconnecting. The son's living with him now. And, he's, showing his son what he really is about as a father. Right.
Yeah.
Jeremy probably ain't no multi almost billionaire. Okay. 50 Cent is. So the means that 50 Cent has is going to be 1,000 times more than any of us have in this chat, any of us watching this, than Jeremy had, than I had.
Put together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because he has the means, and he's still kind of like, you're good, Marcus, you're good. You're just whatever. You're like your mom. You chose your side. Most of us dads would be like, I just want a relationship with my kid. And we'd spend our last dollar to do that. You mean to tell me 50 Cent can't, throw some money at this and say, okay, well, let me do this for you. Let me do this. You want to go to college? You want to start a business? Not that throwing the money is the thing, but like he has the means. So that means he, like I said earlier, he could not work for a year, pay a couple of people to do some business deals for him and rebuild his relationship with his kid for a whole year. Hey, let's go on vacation. Let's travel. Let's get to know each other. Let's travel the country. Let's fly. Let's go to Africa. Let's go to Asia. Let's get to know each other. He could do that. Us regular men can't. So when I look at somebody that has the means to do literally anything with that kid and figure it out, that's why I put the blame on him, because he could literally do anything he wanted to do to make that relationship better, to pay for the best therapy, whatever that means. And he isn't. that shows me a little bit about his character. So
a little bit, and it's interesting with again going back to that type A, ultra competitive, business minded person, where they may not have the same level of empathy, the same level of that. You know, we all have different parts of our personality that's more prevalent than others, right? Like some of us are more agreeable, some of us are not. And I think 50 Cent's mindset is, first of all, he's petty, right? He doesn't say sorry. He doesn't apologize a lot about what he says and what he does. And there's such a problem between, you know, him and Shaniqua, the baby mom, that they can't get that fixed. He does not want to back down. He doesn't back down from anything that he wanted to do or his stance. I mean, 50 Cent is still arguing with the game. He's still like, it doesn't matter. Like he'll have beef forever. So it's like, if he came and get some of the other stuff resolved in his life, though, these battles, you'll think maybe with Marquise he can figure it out, but maybe he can't, because where's the history of him actually fixing other relationships that went awry? G Unit should have been one of the greatest groups ever, but him and the game couldn't figure it out. Right, went back and forth. They kind of broke off, and it didn't matter for 50 Cent. He moved on to do other things, but I just don't see where they can improve this based on 50 Cent's history. And then we can go down his social media feed and just hear what he says. He doesn't. It don't seem like he doesn't apologize a lot. He doesn't apologize for his actions. So I don't know. I don't see where. Hopefully they'll get along or get this fixed. But what do you think? What do you think of what's going to happen in the future between these two?
I mean, I hope something good. I mean, it seems like the picture you put up and the Marcus Jackson. Like, is he like he's at red carpet events and he's being interviewed? And is it from his dad? Like, do we know what he does for work? Is he in the industry? Do you know any of that? Like, does he have aspirations of being a rapper? Like, do you know about? I just want to ask you that question first. Do you know? Like, what?
I'm not sure. I mean, clearly because he is the son of 50 Cent. He's on the social media. There would be some level of attention, but in terms of what he wants to do, and that's another thing too. The issue is 50 Cent was mad that he was paying a mansion for two people who didn't work. He said the mom wasn't working. That probably bothered him because he's working on a lot, and he's probably sitting there saying, "All right, we're not really together, but you're living in this mansion. You got my son here. You don't put any effort in, and you either ask for more money. You know what I mean? Like, that's where money comes in. So those type of things kind of break apart. So I'm wondering that's what it is. But right now he wants to sit down with his father. Will that ever happen? And the idea of saying, and like I said, the reason why he's getting a lot of beef, a lot of pushback, Marquise Jackson, he claims that 20 to 6,700 a month that he's getting for 50 Cent is not enough to sustain his lifestyle.
Yeah.
And
so what is that? That's like 70 grand or something a year, something, right?
Yeah,
something like
that is exactly that's enough for his lifestyle. He wants to live like his father,
and he's not his father. So you gotta, if 70 grand a year or whatever it is isn't enough for the average American, that's definitely enough. Yeah. So
even in New York, you can live a relatively comfortable lifestyle. Like if he
and that's only for that. He could work or do something else or try to figure out what he wants to do and make money on. So he's actually really easily could be making and bringing in six figures, and he should be fine. He could be fine with that at his age. But it's his lifestyle he wants, and maybe he grew up. Maybe 50 Cent was paying more at some point. When you grow up in a mansion, your reality is skewed a little bit too. Let's not forget that. So and he sees his dad living a lifestyle. Maybe some of his friends live, and he's not able to have all the Gucci belts in the world and the Bugattis, and he's mad, and that's kind of childish. So this is what I would hope. I'd say this, since you're asking, do you think they could rekindle or like work it out? One of the more heartbreaking interviews I've seen between a father and a son that are relative, like in the hip hop world, was when DMX's son was talking to, with the
Oh
help of
yeah, I
a
saw that
therapist,
one. That
talking
was
to DMX about,
that was rough to
and
watch.
his son was sitting there very calm and telling him, "Dad, this is what I want from you." Can you? And DMX basically just cut his son's throat, saying, "Oh, I love you. This ain't good enough for you." Blah blah. And that's a hard thing to watch. And then DMX passes a few years later. So I hope they could reconcile and have a relationship, because I think a son needs his father, right? So I hope it doesn't get to the point where that happens to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was a really good point of you want to at least resolve things because you never know what's going to happen in the future where you regret
Yes.
not pushing aside the nonsense and talking because things can change very rapidly, very quickly. And you can say Marquise is a knucklehead for that comment. It is. But 50 Cent as a father should have a bigger understanding of, were you there to break down the game of life to him, the business of life? Okay, yes, the mother says some terrible things. You have said some terrible things. Who has to be the bigger person to sit back and say, he's probably, like I said, he was raised in a mansion. Maybe there's no work ethic there because he didn't have to. I had to because literally I couldn't eat. I'm in the south side of Queens. Survival was necessary. That developed a lot of stuff that made me who I am. Marquise didn't have to go through that. Like, I know 50 Cent is smart enough to understand these layers. It's all emotional. It's I think both are hurting. 50 Cent is hurting and his son is hurting.
And he's got to I think he's got to put his ego, one of them, and the father's the father. You got to put your ego down and your pride. And it, that's how I look at it. It's an easy thing to say. We don't know all the details, but you gotta do that, man. You got to.
Zach asking, have you read 50 Cent's newer book? 50 Cent's writing, and
I have not. No.
He has a lot of great ideas. He knows how to make it. He has done it in different mediums. He did the hip hop thing. He's, like I said, investing in companies, and now he has a successful media. Basically, I think at this point it's probably a production company where they just put out really high quality TV that's much better than the crap that's usually out there. So he knows what to do in terms of making money and pushing that kind of thing. But he don't know how to raise a kid because, like you said earlier, he never saw it. He never saw the example of someone being raised by their father.
And some might say what 50 Cent's doing and having the success he has in the music game, the business world, production company, writing, he's acting, he's an author. That might be his escape from dealing with the harsh realities of the relationships that he has had and not had.
Yeah.
So some people push the envelope and push it to be successful in the ways that they can't be on the everyday life with relationships. And maybe he's so hyper focused on becoming a billionaire, he's not wanting to do the therapy and do the work with his son. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. Zach, referring to the new book that 50 Cent wrote. I forgot the name. If you got the name, you can put it in the chat. I listened to it, and he goes over some of his interactions with his son and why they don't speak. And I'm sure those interactions were bad. And I'm sure there were times where he's like, I'm never going to try to talk to this person again. But I think, at least with me and Pedro are saying, that he's going to have to swallow that and kind of start over, at least bring him back to full, at least have a conversation with him in an honest way, not looking to already fight with each other.
It sounds like 50 Cent just like, fuck it, I'm done. Like maybe he's tried some things. He's just like, nope, I'm good. That's my blood. That's my seed, but I'm good. He's not, but then I think back to the DMX and his son. How's 50 going to think when DMX is on his, on his deathbed, something happens and he didn't have that bond with his kid? He's probably going to regret it,
Yeah. And that's the weird thing about having favorites for children. Like, so clearly 50 Cent favors one son over the other, different baby mamas, but it just weirds me out. And this happens a lot. I mean, the movie Boys in the Hood, where basically Doughboy getting treated like garbage by his mom, but Ricky is and it's based because it said in the movie, she did not like Doughboy's father.
Yep.
but she liked Ricky's father.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like these are all the babies, for, at least in her concern, came out the same way, but she favors Ricky because he plays football and he takes, he's supposed to be the football star.
Yeah.
And it's weird that it happens so often, and it's sad that happens so often where people choose their favorite kid. And I know the joke is like, well, you're not supposed to tell them which one's your favorite. I mean, I only have one, so I don't have to worry about that.
And I got two, but I got two, and they're literally 20 years age difference. So it's I can't even, I can't.
You have favorites.
I can have, it's just different.
Yeah. Because when they're 22, they're pretty much like, all right, Dad, I don't need you bothering me right now. Anyway, go get another one and start over.
Yeah.
But yeah, that favorite thing, that weirds me out. Just even thinking about it's so odd. You supposed to love them all unconditionally. It doesn't matter. You take care of them. Yeah, you may have one as a fuck up. All right, cool. But you still love that person, right? Like you're still going to take care of them at least what you can. And yes, you at one point. Sometimes you have to wash your hands off a situation. Maybe that's like you said. That's what 50 Cent is doing. He's washed his hands of the situation. But they both are publicly posting dumb stuff on IG. So you're not really washing your hands because really, if you wash your hands, you wouldn't respond to it. You just ignore it.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And I think and this is giving my perspective on times when maybe I've responded and did something, whether it's publicly or privately. If you're really over something and you really don't care, you don't say nothing.
Indifference. You're
just like, I'm good. Even if you hear like, don't care, clown, keep moving, right? But if you respond and you keep giving it time and energy, obviously you care enough. So clearly he cares about his son. He just doesn't know what to do. Like he doesn't, and maybe he's done so much that he's frustrated. The mom hasn't helped out. Marcus maybe hasn't done what he could do. So it's tough, but you're still his dad. At the end of the day, that's the line of saying, like, that's your son. If he's saying he wants a relationship, who cares what he's done? I don't care if my kid's like, I hate you, you're the worst, I don't ever want to speak to you again. And 5 years later, they're like, you know what? I do want a relationship with you. Okay, that's all I need to know. You know what I'm saying? Like everything else you've done before doesn't matter because you're a kid, you're a child. Like I'm the adult here. So I feel like I hope he just doesn't regret it in the way that DMX passed away before he was able to reconcile something with his kid. That's sad. So
yeah, and it starts with a relationship between a person that you're going to have a child with. Like it has to be strong enough to do that because it's a lifetime commitment, and we should not talk bad about our partners in front of our children. It's a terrible idea. I don't care how frustrated you are. Do not do that. Unless the partner is doing something harmful. Okay.
Yeah.
Harmful, like being physically abusive or something like that. And it's like, hey, listen, then we all got to leave this person, obviously. But because relationships and cheating, it happens all the time. But don't don't judge, that mate in front of the child. It's not healthy. Because then,
and I'm sure his ex did. Think about it. You're a woman. You got a kid with 50 Cent. He blows up. He's a block guy. Now he's a millionaire. Now it's like, I understand why she's mad. Think about it. She lost her meal ticket, in some regards. But you got to be better than that. And,
I mean, she may have really cared about him, helped him get to this point. And it goes where a lot of men do, right? A lot of people. It's like, I moved up and I don't need to, upgrade it. And
that first wife or your first chick never made. Listen, we can count on one hand how many successful men have kept the same woman from the beginning of their career till now. I can think of, we could probably put them on one hand.
In the rap career or the sports? Either
both.
one?
Both.
I know, like Snoop Dogg, I think he's with the same one. Same wife.
Dre. Yeah. It's Dre. Dre.
Dre, he had it. Then
broke up. I think of I know Denzel Washington. He's in entertainment. He's been with his chick, his woman for a long time.
LeBron James.
LeBron James. Okay, so we got 2 or 3.
So,
I mean,
it's very small.
It's not a lot.
All right,
it's not common.
I'm gonna throw one out, but don't laugh. But Ice-T and Coco, I think it's pretty. I think that's one.
Yeah, but listen, Hannibal. The key word in that sentence was Coco.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm just saying.
you ain't leaving Coco, bro. Come on. You're not leaving. I know you ain't leaving Coco. You ain't leaving Coco.
No. I'm saying that's a long-term relationship.
It is. Those are
I love
exceptions. Is my point.
Ice T, no, Ice Cube. I think he has a lot. Like some of the older G's seem like to have a few. And T.I. Is T.I. still with Tiny? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's not even talk. I don't want to.
Yeah, not talking about. But it's it's hard, and I can look at it from multiple perspectives. Being a father with a woman that has a child but doesn't want to talk to you anymore because you've whatever, the relationship's not working out, and you can't see the child, and there's a lot of games being played, and I feel for anyone who's going through that situation because I can't imagine it because I don't have that situation. I have been very fortunate and grateful that I never have to deal with that. I don't think I probably will.
But that also says a lot about you, right? It says a lot about you and the person you decided to marry, be with, have a child. You know what I'm saying? That says a lot about your character, right? So not everybody. It's rare for people to have what you have, and I think it's awesome that you have that. Like that should be like talked about more, and like too many of these young guys nowadays in the entertainment business, the rap game, sports, whatever. It's like you got these, there's not enough LeBrons and Steph Currys is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. There's too many PJ Washingtons. You know what I'm saying? Getting, and it's sad because at the end of the day, it does affect you as a man and that woman, but ultimately it's going to affect that child and what they see and how they feel and they're growing up, and you're not giving them all the opportunities that you possibly can. It's hard to raise a kid and be co-parents. It makes it a lot more difficult on
there's a lot
everybody.
More different layers and schedules and different homes, different places of the world, and that's why my advice, no one asks for my advice, but for the athletes, especially the athletes, the ones who are, they're making a lot of good money, making tons of money, they're traveling a lot. You're young, you probably should not settle down anytime soon. At the peak of your careers, you're making it more complicated unless you're really trying to make it work. And I think a lot of those, that's the problem. If you're trying to make it work, it can work. But if you still want to live this lifestyle that most young men will never, ever live, then just do that. And you don't try to settle down. Don't bring kids into the situation. If you're still out there. Listen.
Wear a fucking condom. Wear a condom.
Yeah.
Wear a condom. Wear a condom. And a lot of these things can be resolved.
Yeah, and then when you get older, then you're ready to have
find
a family.
Your girl,
you find the right one. Yes. But that's the problem. It's too much. It's too many kids just popping up off of just decisions that were made in the moment, and then you have a lifetime of worry, stress, financial, mental, all this type of stress because you could have put a condom on. Or at least pull out.
I mean, it's what I'm saying. Listen, I know that's not always the easiest thing, right? What I'm saying is, Hannibal's speaking to these young athletes, entertainers, really just men across the board. If you ain't ready to have a child, put a condom on.
Derek Jeter, this thing, Derek had Jeter, the whole setup. He messed with the most beautiful women in the world. And had no problems because he kept left with them. Like I'm not interested, and that makes things much easier. And then I'm sure, I don't know if he has kids now, but he probably
I don't think he does, man. I don't think he does, and maybe he doesn't want them. But yeah, it makes it easier, cheaper, less stress. Leonardo DiCaprio, dude's banged every Victoria's Secret model since 1997. He ain't got no kid. We have to move smarter. You have to understand, I want this or I want that. And you have to just protect yourself,
Nova calls it a pull and pray. I'm just joking. Do not do that. That is not going to work.
Man, listen.
You definitely want, first of all, I think they're coming out with birth control pills for men. Pedro, are you interested? There's some pills you take.
We can talk off camera. I don't know. I'm not interested.
I looked this up a couple of weeks ago. They were saying it does not affect your testosterone.
What's it called? Plan D?
I don't know. That's funny.
That's pretty funny.
But you take a pill and no worry about kids. women take
wild.
pills, right? They take pills.
So it's a vasectomy without getting snipped, basically.
Yeah, no, you don't have to worry about that. We take a pill, and somehow I don't know. And then anytime I see this post about it, women are just about to snipe men. Like, oh, so I don't want to take a pill. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
But you want us to take a pill, and it's hard to come back that way. Yeah, we don't want.
Well, it's tough too, because like I've dated women, and you date them for a while, maybe you're not using the condom, but she's on she's on something, she's on a shot, she's got she's on birth control, exactly. But you have to, that's ultimate trust, because she can stop taking them pills. She can, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's why tough. This medication comes in that, no, it ain't mine. I've been taking my Plan D for last month. So
listen, if anybody's watching this, we need sponsors. These would be great sponsors for the podcast. I mean, listen, we can plug.
Still the STD is still an issue. So condoms will probably still be effective. But if you're in a steady relationship and you don't want kids, I think that's probably, at least an idea. I think it weirds men out, even though we want women to take them, but we're like, I don't know about,
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know, because me and my girl, we've talked about having a second kid. A few other things have to happen before we really consider. So she's, she takes precautions, but I don't know. Would I take that? I don't know. It's interesting. It's something to think about. I don't know. I feel like, am I losing my power? You know what I'm saying? Are there side effects? You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough. You know what? We're gonna do some more research on this.
Yeah,
and we'll have a little segment of, should men take a pill to make them shoot blanks? We'll figure it out. Actually, I forgot to bring this up before we had to talk about 50 Cent, but it doesn't matter. We'll bring it up right now. So Pedro's been hating on Ben Simmons for quite some time now. It's very disturbing. I don't appreciate it. But actually, Pedro brought this up to me. He hit me up on the phone. We got to talk about Ben Simmons. He made the Greek Freak look like trash. It was a devastating display of defensive talent, to which I've already told him.
Calm down, Hannibal. Calm down. You're calm down. You're getting real excited.
Okay, go fair. I didn't finish. I told you, Ben Simmons is an elite defender. It's not even like an okay defender. He's NBA first team defender. 6'8". He's gonna championships are going to come from Brooklyn. I'm sorry, but you go ahead.
Listen, you lost me. You had me, and you got me back in, and you start talking about championships.
I got excited. I should take a Plan D. I'm excited. I'm sorry.
I know the Giants have been playing really well. They're about to get smashed by the Cowboys. I think they play the Cowboys, right? So I think the Cowboys. No, the Eagles play the Cowboys. Who do the Giants play this week? I can't remember.
I don't know, but they keep saying Giants going to lose, and it's just not happening right now.
Good point. But listen, you're excited, Yankees and all that, everything. Yeah, New York's on fire, but the Ravens they should lose, but who knows?
Yeah, they probably
listen, Ben Simmons. It's preseason. He's played good. He's looked good.
It's preseason,
but it is preseason. We have to understand preseason is not the regular season. Okay, but I'm rooting for him because I think it could be a great comeback story. We haven't seen him play. He didn't play at all last year, right?
Yep.
And the last images of us is when he's with the 76ers losing and him basically passing up a layup to pass it to a guy. And he just can't. He's missing free throws. So we have a really negative image. And then he's on the bench. He's wearing, weird clothing and all these chains. He's acting weird. He's, we're all a little jealous because he's banging all these big booty hoes. I get it. I'm probably jealous, but I want him to be successful. But at some point, he still hasn't reached his potential when he came into the league. So I'm still waiting to see it. I'm rooting for him. I hope he does well, but the championships is a little far-fetched for me. So we'll see.
Well, I would say, listen, Ben needs to just play basketball, leave the pressure, offensive stuff to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything but pass the ball and play good defense.
He just got to play, and keep it very, very simple. I think he still needs to try to score. Now, he can score around the basket. Fantastic. Maybe the jump shot may never ever come. It may never do. I don't know if
at
it's
this
a
point.
Shaq
It's not going to
thing.
happen.
It could be a mental thing. I don't know if it's the hand holding. I mean, you're more of the technical, like, in terms of a shot, in terms of basketball.
It's not happening. I can't think of
shot messed up. What is it?
It's what I think is technique, and it's also
Technique,
in his brain, because
Yeah.
you got to understand. Even when we're talking about Shaq, Ben Simmons, these guys have professionals, trainers, and different ones, and they're working on this. Shaq was working on free throws. Ben Simmons is working on that, but it's in his head, and it's also in his technique and just a lot of other things. So I can't think of any other NBA player that has come from shooting, let's say like Shaq, 50% free throws, right, to shooting 80 or 90. It just doesn't happen. With all the training in the world, it doesn't
really
happen.
bad shot. The one that kind of comes to mind was Karl Malone. He didn't have a jump shot when he first came in the league, and he developed some of it. Like he was able to have some range. Now he was shooting 3-pointers. I mean, that's not how it was.
A little bit of a mid range, yeah. But
what other people come out and playing like garbage shooting, and then all of a sudden shoot?
I don't know. Shooting is it's tough, because when you start doing it, you're learning technique in your body form and everything, and launching, like the angles of release and your feet and your elbow and all of it, right? And you're learning that at a young age, right? And a lot of these guys, Ben Simmons has been so great since he touched the basketball because of his natural talent, his size.
Yeah, his
where he hasn't needed a jump shot, and he still doesn't to be in the NBA. But I mean, the team he's on is not going to need. They're going to need him to hit situational free throws, and in the fourth quarter,
they're going to hack you, Ben. Yeah,
NBA, the fourth quarter is the only quarter that matters. They need him to play good defense, good assist, rebound. The guys taking the shots are going to be KD and Kyrie, and he needs to just shoot free throws and make 60 to 70%. He doesn't even need to be great at it, but if he can do that, he should be fine.
It's just weird of someone with a high IQ to pass the ball and get 12 assists, can't put the ball can't shoot the ball in the back. It's like he has enough of talent, full speed. These are world greatest athletes running full speed, and he can calculate where to pass the ball.
Yeah.
But when it's time to shoot a free throw where nothing's happening, that's when his brain shut down. I mean, I guess there are two different scenarios.
It's very I haven't played high levels of basketball, but I played a lot. I've played in a lot of men's leagues, high school. When you're playing in a game and things are happening very fast, that a lot of times is actually easier than when everything stops. You're by yourself on the free throw line, and the crowd's making noise. You get the ball to you.
They say something to Ben every day. Like every time he's up there, one of the players say something.
Yes,
but he's gonna miss.
So that's more difficult than him running a fast break off a rebound. It just is. And when you're by yourself on that line, man, it's not easy for everybody. And I think it's very, very mental for him. So
yeah. But I am biased, but I think Ben is going to have a pretty strong season. I don't know. I don't know. I got to look at the rest of the roster.
Do you think he's an all-star? Do you think he's an all-star this year?
I have to look through all the guards that are going to be in the East. It's possible because he's still kind of a famous player, and he's in New York now, so there's
big
maybe
market,
trying to push it. Yeah. If he could average near a double-double, if he averaged near a triple-double, is possible. I mean, it looks like it in terms of his height. They're going to make him more of a point center. I mean, if he could drop 13, 10, and 9 or something like that, it's possible he could at least get on the bench, especially for size. And he could play, I don't know how many, he could play all the positions too. So if someone gets hurt, he's probably going to get in. So I think, to be honest, I think he'll probably make an all-star. I think it'll be the 3 all-stars will be the 3 Brooklyn, the big 3. In terms of how well he could push, it's going to be interesting. And hopefully they all get along. They're all weird and sensitive. So I think they all can kind of, KD will kind of protect Ben. Kyrie, like anytime Ben gets attention, Kyrie will say something stupid or weird.
Yes, he will.
Like,
he will.
Yeah. So, did Marquise Fultz fix his shot?
I don't know. I think he's
still in the Magic. They moved him.
I don't know. He's not relevant though. He's not the number 1 pick. So even if he fixed his shot, he's not a guy that's scoring 20 a game. So it doesn't really.
What? Lonzo fixed his shot like a dramatic. Like, guy couldn't shoot 3-pointers, and I think he's hurt right now. But he got up to 40%. So like it's like you said, it's a possibility, especially when his other brother can shoot. So it's like, what was wrong? You know, his shot was wrong. The shot was but he fixed shot. So I do agree with you. It's a matter of coaching, resources, which they all have, but then it's more on commitment, mindset to practice this until you basically are exhausted, right? Like practice this until it's automatic in your body. These athletes can do it, but like I said, it depends on comfortability and what they do. So, and I agree. I want Ben Simmons to do well. I think the mental health. I think hopefully he starts to talk about it more openly with his voice, talking about it. It will help other people that may be in Ben Simmons' position. That's not 6'11", that can stay in the league. They can't shoot because most can't.
Yeah,
like, you know, like he's a special athlete. All these crazy players that's coming in, like, you know, Victor Wembanyama, I think maybe I pronounced it right. These are aliens, man. Like they're 6-7 foot tall point guards. Like they're dribbling and they're shooting from 30. It's a whole different level of human beings that's coming. I think Ben Simmons is part of it. 7 feet tall, and he's able to guard 5 positions. That's not normal.
Yeah, it's not. There's only a couple guys that can do that. Like it's wild, and I'll be rooting for him, man. I'm not rooting against him. He's super talented, and I think, like you said, if he can continue to improve mentally and physically on the floor, and then also help other men that have been dealing with mental health, and inspire others to, you know, better serve themselves and get help, whatever that means for them personally, I think it could be a great comeback story. So I'm rooting for him. Sure.
If he can fix his shot, whoever is a shooting coach should get paid like $3 million a year. Like if they could figure that out, or even figure out a lot of his mental health, I want that psychiatrist to write a book, because if you can figure because I think it's very strong. He's going through a lot, or at least went through a lot. So the work on that is difficult. And if they can figure that out, we need to get that information out there to the masses, because I think a lot of people can benefit from it. So
for sure,
we'll see. We'll see from that. Other than that, I think it was a pretty good show.
Yeah. What do y'all say? You got to let us know. Hit the thumbs up, whatever.
Thumbs up.
Drop a comment.
Appreciate you guys for in here. You know, the usual gang. Obviously we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll see what's going on with all the teams. What's going on. Yeah, I'm not too thrilled about the Giants with the Ravens. I think they've been underachieving. So it just takes one team to get beat on, and we're probably bad timing. You know, Lamar's pissed. So we're going to probably take an L on this one. Yeah. But we'll see, man. You know, NBA season's coming up. Holidays are coming up. So it's going to be a lot going on. And we're going to be continuing with the 2 episodes a week. We're breaking them down as well. So little segments. Let us know what segments you're into. And another thing I want to talk to you about, Pedro, we need an email or something, so people can contact the show. We're gonna figure that out.
We'll have to figure that out. I think definitely, you know, get us. You can reach out. Reach out through us via the comment section. Even if you're watching live, if there's things you want to talk about, things you want to share, things you'd like to see, if you want to be a part of the show at some point, let us know in the comment section for right now. But we'll definitely think about and work on some kind of email or communication where you guys could get a hold of us that way as well. So.
Yeah, I think that would probably be a good idea. But other than that, enjoy the rest of your night. You know, don't get into trouble, guys. Seriously, don't get in trouble.
Put a condom on.
Yes, please.
Wrap it up.
Plan D comes out, don't mess around with that.
No.
On that note, have a good night. Peace.